This is the Young Family Podcast. All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Young Family Podcast. It is your host, E. Young. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host,
the TBC.
How are you, TBC?
Doing good.
We are going to launch right into a non-traditional episode of the Young Family Podcast. One segment that you're familiar with, and then another that is totally going to blow your mind, and we are debuting for the very first time. The first one is we're going to be getting right into a segment of Do You Know What I Effing Hate with the TBC. She's got some new COVID-19 inspired rage that she wants to talk about. And then, TBC, we are going to be dropping our very first interview segment with very dear friends, Nick and Julie. They have just had their first child. We had the pleasure of interviewing them the night before they went to the hospital. So cool. And so we're so happy and excited to share that with you guys. TBC, to begin, are you ready to launch into Do You Know What You Effing Hate?
Yes.
All right, baby doll. So what are we going to be raging about today?
My rage begins with coronavirus.
Right.
All right, so I effing hate coronavirus. I effing hate what it is doing to all of us. I hate being trapped inside the house. There are very few places that we are able to go. One of the things or places that I seem to have been going to for our family has been grocery shopping.
That's right.
We go to Publix, and most of the time, shopping is definitely a pleasure. And I feel that Publix has gone above and beyond to make the shopping experience during this pandemic as smooth and safe and clean as possible.
I agree.
So for those of you who do not shop at Publix, they have basically, at least in our area of Orlando, have mapped out around Publix directional arrows and signs about where you can travel to pick up your groceries. Mm-hmm. So you are supposed to go down the aisle one way and travel down another aisle the other way.
So I have not been to Publix since they've put down these aisle arrows. So are you saying that each aisle is basically a one-way street?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so there used to be arrows, but now, since in the last week, now there are literally signs, printed signs. So it's go this way, and then there's an X, don't go this way. They basically have mapped out a whole line. So if you're going to check out, you have to get in a line. Mm-hmm. And you stand on, again, imprinted little signs about 6 feet apart. So you're supposed to give the space as you're waiting to check out. And then the cashier says, okay, you can go to lane 5, you can go to lane 7, and then to keep the distance of how many people are kind of clumped in that area.
Almost kind of like checking in for a flight or at a hotel where there's a waiting area, but obviously everyone's 6 feet apart. And then the person that's ready for you calls you. And then they say, come on over.
That's exactly how it is.
Gotcha.
And then once you get up there, you basically, now there's this new plexiglass, basically from, waist level to however tall you are, so you're not spewing germs on the cashier.
Such a descriptive word.
So you're supposed to stay in this box. So you are not supposed to take 2 steps forward to pay until the cashier has bagged all of your groceries.
Okay.
So then once they bag all your groceries, you are supposed to take a step back, and then they say, now you can pay. To give everyone the proper
it's 6 feet. Yeah. It's everywhere it's supposed to be 6 feet.
So
what about all of this Do You Effing Hate?
I'm so sorry. I have one more thing to share about what they're doing. So sorry. There's a lot of things that I need to say first.
That you need to put into context.
So I went to Publix yesterday, and now our Publix is basically having us wait outside and they're only allowing so many people to enter the store at a time.
Okay.
So everything that I have just said so far, I love.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, yes, it's a little bit strange to all be in mask and to all kind of be in this like rules that you have to follow when you're in the grocery store.
Right.
But at the same time, I understand.
And
so
at least
I
we
don't hate
all
it.
get to still go to a grocery store.
Yes.
Because that's like when the apocalypse would really begin. Is like if for whatever reason these stores aren't open anymore, that's when the S is really going to hit the fan.
For sure. So I tell the employees when I'm there, thank you for all that you're doing. I appreciate you guys going above and beyond.
Yeah.
You know, the cleaning, the sanitizing, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's great.
What I effing hate begins now. I effing hate when there are customers who are walking in the wrong direction. Now, I might feel like a superpower, but like because I'm like underneath my mask and I kind of had an exchange, a facial exchange with a lady yesterday in the store because I'm walking arrows forward down one aisle and
following the rules.
Following the rules. I'm a rule follower.
Right. Not surprising.
Yeah, sorry. So then I have another lady who's like walking towards me. And so in the beginning, I want to say there are arrows on the ground about how you're supposed to be walking.
Right.
And I don't mean to be like rude, but it's like, this is there for a reason. This is there for our safety. And if everyone can just kind of go these above and beyond steps, hopefully we can get back to the quote unquote normal sooner rather than later.
Agreed.
So just follow the rules. Yes, they may be annoying, but they are for the better health and safety of everyone involved.
Right.
So yesterday on the loudspeaker, Publix says, thank you for shopping, blah, blah, blah. Please keep social distancing. Please follow the signs on the ground about how you're supposed to be walking.
Nice.
So as me and this lady are kind of passing, she looks on the ground and she notices that she is going the wrong way.
Okay.
So then I look at the ground, to kind of acknowledge that I also acknowledge that she is going the wrong way.
Okay.
So
did you guys make eye contact?
Yeah.
Did you remove your mask to let her know that you were disappointed with your whole face?
There's no need. My eyes said it all.
Wow.
It's like when you're a parent and your kid does something wrong, you just have to look at them.
It's just the look. Yeah. You don't think the mouth is involved in that at all? You were just
look at my eyes.
It's terrifying. You're right.
See?
Okay. Wow. So she got it.
So I really wasn't like, I really was not rude to her. We just kind of had like an understanding that she was going the wrong way. And she casually kind of turned her cart and went the right way.
Right.
So, I think why I effing hate this so much is because, a store like Publix, are going above and beyond to try and make the shopping experience safe for everybody involved.
Right.
So it's just like, just do it. They're not asking a lot. And when people behind the deli are saying, can you stand behind the blue line? And instead of like huffing and puffing and being like, ugh, like so annoying, be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that you were doing this. It's like, these employees are still working. Like, we are able to go to the grocery store because they are still working.
And they're putting themselves at great personal risk to do so.
Of course.
Yeah.
So it's like, because they are working and they are around people all day long and they are more prone to be around these germs, it's like, just give the respect that they want. So it's like, if they want you to be behind a blue line, if they want you to be in a blue box, if they want you to follow this blue arrow, just do it. It's not asking a lot. So I effing hate when people, especially right now in this pandemic, think that they're better than the rules because it's there for a reason.
And furthermore, what if this is just kind of the way that stores are going to be?
So I definitely think that moving forward, when we get back to our normal, I think that it is going to become a new normal no matter where you go.
Yeah, so in order for like the economy to open back up, it's probably going to happen along with social distancing tactics continuing on. So that's what I mean, like grocery stores might just kind of be like this indefinitely, where like now there is a flow of traffic and aisles are one-way streets. So it's like, if you are intentionally just like, well, I'm going to do it however I want to, it's a hard road ahead for you, because this might be the way that it's going to be for a long while. So you may as well just like fall in line. You know what I mean? Get used to it, homies.
I think too, it's hard because there are no real consequences. People are going to keep doing it. So it's about just kind of banding together during this whole crisis.
So we can push the person out of the store as like an angry mob. But see, no social distancing there.
That's not where I was going, but I mean, I'm not mad about it.
Right.
So.
Right. I thought you meant physically banding together. No, I got a good idea. This is a way to create jobs in our down economy. Publix bouncers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or just grocery stores in general.
Yeah, grocery store bouncers. Couple of tough guys or girls at the front of the store.
So you just need like patrol officers like going up and being like, hey, turn around.
Yeah.
Wrong aisle.
And they have to be wearing aviators.
Yeah, okay, sure.
So listen, thank you for sharing your rage with us. As always, I also do believe that we made a great contribution to the economy by inventing the position of grocery store bouncer. So that's going to wrap up today's segment of Do You Know What I Effing Hate with TBC. Everyone give it up for her. And now, TBC, we have the distinct honor of introducing our very dear friends, Nick and Julie. We got to interview them the other night. Before they went to the hospital and then had their firstborn child. So as we were recording this right now, some things have transpired. So bring us up to speed on what their family situation is.
Well, so now, since the recording, they have had their baby.
That's right.
And so this recording was basically a way for us to kind of see how they were feeling as they entered into the hospital to meet their baby during this pandemic, as things were going to be a little bit different with like no visitors. So it's nice to kind of hear their thoughts about going into this. But now, since then, they do have a baby.
That's right. And they're home and everyone's healthy and happy. But they were gracious enough to speak with us on the topic of having a child amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. So we just thought that was so cool that we got to get their thoughts down on wax. So without further ado, everyone, here are new parents, Nick and Julie. All right, everybody, and welcome to our interview segment. We are here with very, very dear personal friends, Nick and Julie. And Nick and Julie are actually at a very, very interesting time in their life right now, because they are expecting their very first child, little baby Katie, to be born tomorrow. And so we wanted to celebrate with you guys. We wanted to ask you guys how you're feeling right now. And we just have so many questions. So first and foremost, thank you for being on the Young Family Podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Big fans of the Young Family Podcast.
Of course, you have to be. You know us personally. But with that, let's just get right into questions, okay? Like I said, we want to know how you feel. So if each of you could respond. This is such a pivotal moment in your life. It is the night before you transition from non-parents to parents. So Julie, let's go ladies first. What is going on in your head right now?
Well, there's a lot of things going on in my head. First of all, most likely we're not going to actually have the baby tomorrow. I found out yesterday. We're checking in at 5 p.m. And I was hoping for an Earth Day baby. Tomorrow is going to be the 22nd Earth Day, but the doctor gave me some very realistic news that probably nothing's going to happen until Thursday, maybe even Friday. So,
Oh my God.
Fun. Okay.
So I was pretty excited about tomorrow's date. And then, he broke it to me that most likely it'll be Thursday or Friday. So I'm excited. This is going to be our last night in our house as parentless couple. So I'm excited, a little nervous as well, but just kind of looking forward to not being pregnant anymore and meeting our little girl. So a lot of mixed emotions. And
Did you like being pregnant?
I did. I would say for most of it, at least half of it. I think I had a pretty easy pregnancy compared to a lot of people. I did get some morning sickness, but they have medicine for that now, so it really wasn't bad. The quarantines definitely put a little bit of a damper on everything. Kind of envisioned the last couple months spending time with my sister and mom and mother-in-law, doing some shopping. Everyone wants to go shopping for the cutesy girl baby clothes, and waited till after my shower to do all that. And that was about the time the quarantine started. So I didn't get to do a lot of the last minute, nice, cool, fun, girly mom stuff. But so I think that made it a little harder these past couple weeks. But it was pretty easy overall. So I guess I should say I have no complaints. But that's all. 9 months is a long time.
Carolyn commonly reminds me, and everyone else, it's like 9 months is what is commonly thought of
It's like
for a
10
pregnancy.
months,
She's
almost
like, yeah,
10
no,
months.
it's 10. It's 10.
Yeah.
Like I went full 10 months, like you're basically at like 9.5. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a long time.
Yeah. So with that, Nick, sock it to us, man. What is going on in your head? How do you feel about the last night in your house without a kid?
I think it's kind of like taking a big trip, right? I think that reality is going to be like Julie typically does. She makes me leave very early to get to the airport because we don't have TSA pre-check. And we're going to stand around, and then we're going to get through security much faster than we think. And then we're going to be in the room like we are in the waiting room at the airport, and we're going to do nothing for 4 hours.
At least.
And in this case, it's going to be like 2 days of not getting the flight. So
40 hours.
we're going to Tom Hanks, kind of like terminal wait for it. I don't know. I think for me, I'm going to melt when I'm holding baby Katie in my arms. But until then, it's kind of surreal. And I feel like we're just taking a vacation.
So many heightened emotions. That's why I really wanted to know, if you guys could in some way encapsulate like what it is. And I'm sure that you kind of shift between many of them. Carolyn, you want to take the next question?
Yeah. Do you guys have any like last meal, like as like the two of you are going to do anything like special, like a special lunch or anything?
Not like in a prison kind of way. Not like a
No,
death
kind-
row
kind
sort
of
of
like
last meal.
kind of like a prison.
The Green Mile minute. Okay. Take it away.
I actually kind of had the opposite plan because I don't want anything too heavy before I have the baby. So I've been eating granola bars and cereal and fruit.
I mean, let's be honest. You don't want to be pushing out, a steak with gorgonzola crust. So you're gonna go waffles. You're gonna go cereal. So we have a very bland breakfast for dinner.
Yep.
Menu.
Light and airy. Light and airy.
But I am planning my post-pregnancy meals. I'm pretty excited about them.
Okay, I'll take that. What's your first post-pregnancy meal?
Well, the hospital just happens to be right next to Tin and Taco. So anyone who knows me knows I love tacos. They're still doing curbside pickup, takeout. So I'm going to make the new daddy make a run to Tin and Taco for me. I've heard that the cafeteria is amazing at Winnie Palmer Hospital. So my first breakfast.
It is.
I want a Belgian waffle. So hopefully the youngs can tell me if they have a Belgian waffle station or not. So then my first dinner at home back at the house, Nick's going to make filet medium rare with blue cheese crust. Because I haven't been able to have blue cheese, wine, or rare steak. So
Yep, that sounds perfect, actually.
That's it. That's the one. So this one is very specific to our circle of friends. All right. We'll be very transparent now. Nick and Julie, you guys are very close personal friends, and we share many friends. And a couple of them have children, right? So now that you guys have had the opportunity to see within our circle of friends how other families have done things and operated, what would you say is your biggest takeaway from those observations?
Good or bad?
I could say from our immediate circle, make sure that we have plenty of chaos and sound and live our lives and make sure that the baby is not going to have to be in a isolation booth in order to fall asleep. That's been such amazing advice from everybody that we've talked to, is live your life and don't walk on eggshells around a house.
that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Did I take yours?
No, but mine in general is just from watching family and friends. Everyone has a different approach to discipline and how they raise their kid in schedules. But I think the most important key component is they know how much you love them. And I think that I've noticed a really big impact in kids' lives that are well loved. And all the other stuff, parents just do the best that they can. But if the kids are able to come to you for stuff, trust you, look at you for that guidance, then that really, makes a big impact on how they turn out.
Steep.
That's a very
Though,
nice answer.
they were both such like more beautiful answers than I could have ever foreseen. Of course, like I said, a very, very novel aspect of this pregnancy and your firstborn is that it's happening amidst COVID-19. And so we were wondering if you guys would be okay with speaking on that. What are just the overall thoughts of giving birth in the midst of COVID-19?
So we feel like we're kind of shielded a bit because we're going to be having the baby at Winnie, and that it's a real specific mom and baby only. So we're not going to like a general type hospital. And I think if we were having, a baby in just a general type hospital situation, it'd be kind of hairy. So I think we feel a little bit invincible in that sense. The worst part of it is definitely not having family and friends be at the hospital with us. We remember visiting you guys twice and coming to see the deal. I mean, right away. And it's so special. And so for us, it sucks.
You get to be with Julie like the whole time?
We're kind of setting ourselves up for a yes to answer that, but kind of cautiously optimistic because you never know.
Yeah.
As of right now, the guidelines on the hospital website are that you have one visitor, support person, father, the entire time has to be the same person.
And so, Julie, I wanted to follow up with just your overall thoughts before we get into like what the hospital protocol is, because we definitely want to hear about that. But where is your head at in terms of like that this pregnancy and your firstborn is happening at this very climactic period of human history right now of COVID-19?
So I definitely think it'll make a very interesting story for Katie when she's older. Not that we'd ever forget our first child's birth, but it definitely is a very memorable time in our lives. I think I had touched a little bit on it a little bit earlier. It's been definitely not an experience my last trimester that I was hoping for, with not being able to spend time with my mom and my sister and my mother-in-law, doing all the things that I was hoping to do with them, especially for my first child. So I do feel like that's kind of been taken away from me in a little bit of that aspect. We've had a hard time at different doctor's appointments with Nick being allowed in the room for the sonograms, and we had to get on the phone with corporate one time and not threaten the hospital, but made a big scene at the check-in desk because.
But I got in there for the ultrasound.
I love when Nick makes scenes. It's one of my favorite things about him.
Too soon. You know what it is, dude? I would honestly say that I think maybe we're a little naive to say, or I'm a little naive to say it, but I remember my parents telling me a story about giving birth to me during a blizzard up in Mass. And for me, it's kind of like maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe it's like giving birth to a baby during the Great Depression. Maybe we'll tell her, we gave birth to you during the Great Depression of 2020 or whatever. It's kind of like that. So I don't know. It's a story that we'll tell her, and she won't care, but it's interesting. And I think every baby has you were born on the side of the road in a Waffle House parking lot by the bus boy delivering you or something. This is just at a much larger scale on an economic impact. And, like I said, the worst thing is just that we can't be with close family and friends in person, but they all get it.
They all get it. And I do have to say the only silver lining so far is that during my last trimester, for about the past month and a half, I would say, I've been able to work from home, which I go into the office. It's close by. It's only 10 minutes away. I'm pretty lucky anyways, but just being this pregnant and not even having to worry about getting dressed for an office environment, wearing heels, meeting with people face to face, it's kind of been a little bit of a blessing in disguise in that sense. But I mean, I wouldn't trade that for the quality time with family. So
for sure. Yeah.
So just to clearly establish, for the listeners' sake, and certainly any of them that are outside of the state of Florida, we are here in Central Florida. And so you were saying that per the website of the hospital that you guys are delivering at, currently they are saying that a support person is allowed, but you said that comparatively, that is not the case in all other Central Florida hospitals. Is that right?
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. I've heard 2 other Orlando hospitals were not allowing anyone besides the mother.
Oh my goodness.
It's so sad.
I can't even imagine.
Do you guys have to wear masks the whole time?
I think when
Probably.
we're outside of the room, but I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's some pictures floating around, I think, of babies in like Thailand with the little face shield.
I just showed Eric right before.
Carolyn showed me one, and I mean, I know that it's serious. I know it's serious, but come on, that picture is making rounds on the internet because it's hilarious. That would be like the relic, right? That would be like the keepsake, to be like, this is emblematic of COVID-19 and the era in which you were given birth into.
It's just another layer of protection. So I did look it up, but you can't apparently prime them, and that's okay. They're custom made.
Oh, yeah. I want to like Etsy you guys one of those masks right now. Yeah, there's got to be an Etsy shop up there with the infant plastic covering.
I'm tagging Dempsey. Dempsey, you get on it, dude. You make that mask. Very handy.
You get totally
Dempsey he's a very crafty friend of ours. So listen, we're going to flip the script a little bit. We want to get off the topic of COVID-19, and we want to focus just more on your guys' upcoming parenthood for the final question here. And that is going to be a rapid fire for each of you. We want to know, what is the thing that you are dreading mostly about becoming a parent, which I know that's not necessarily flipping the script, but then we want you guys each individually to end it on what are you most excited about with becoming parents. Nick, how about you go first?
Not being able to golf as much is the scariest. And the high note is being able to sit in our nursery that is absolutely the culmination of all the love and hard work from our amazing friends, Elaine and Benoit, to put this together.
They did a great job.
And be actually in here with a baby. So that's the high note for me, is to use it with a baby. Because otherwise we're just sitting in here with the dog. I'm excited to actually put it to use.
Sit there and be like, today is like the two of you, and then like in a couple of days when you come home, it's going to be like the three of you, and then come.
I know, so this is like the most novel moment right now. It's like one of the final times that you'll do that. So Julie, of course, we got to hear from the mother to be. So what is the thing that you're dreading most about parenthood, and what is the thing that you are most excited about?
I would say, I don't know if I'd call it dreading, but just because it's the unknown for me right now is, I think, learning how to breastfeed. And at first, they recommend don't give the bottle, so Nick won't be able to help with that. So I think that's just kind of the thing I'm most concerned, worried, dreading, just because I never done that before. I know it's hard, and I know it's going to be a challenge. So that's would be my answer for the rapid fire. And the thing that I'm most excited about, I would just say, I know it kind of sounds corny, but I'm most excited about having Nick's baby and starting our family.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I love being a couple with him, and it's been great, but I just have past several years feel like there's something missing, and it's our little baby Katie. So I'm just really excited to start our family together and have that little bundle of joy and fill our home with love and laughter and coos and cries.
I love that.
I knew that there was a reason why I had this instinct to interview you guys at this exact moment right now. And it is because you are just like flying high with heartwarming moments. And so thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for sharing that with, our listeners. We are so happy and over the moon for you guys about what is about to take place for you and your growing family. So congratulations. And thanks again for being here on the show guys. And talking to us. We love you. And so everybody, that's Nick and Julie.
This has been a lot of fun. So thank you so much for having us. We've enjoyed it.
All right, y'all. So once again, that was our very first Young Family Podcast interview with Nick and Julie. TBC, you had a couple of items that you wanted to kind of tack on to the end of this interview because Julie had mentioned toward the end something about breastfeeding. And she was talking about how not only is it something that she is a little bit concerned about, as many first-time mothers are, but also how in the beginning, you're not supposed to be giving a bottle because of, I believe the proper phrase is nipple confusion, right? And so maybe that could deter the baby from continuing to breastfeed if they're given a bottle too early. You wanted to comment on something like that.
Yeah. So first of all, breastfeeding is very hard, very challenging, and it definitely takes a lot of dedication. Also, breastfeeding is, I think, the most hardest within the first 2 weeks. But the main thing that I wanted to kind of convey to Julie, or just to new parents in general, we breastfed both of our children, but we did introduce a bottle of breast milk very early on to their lives, because for me, I needed a way to have a break for myself. Mm-hmm. And so
it's a lot to ask in those first couple of days, all the breastfeeding and that well,
you're basically either pumping or breastfeeding every 2 to 3 hours around the clock until your baby kind of reaches their birth weight again.
Let's just call it what it is. That's impractical.
That's a lot. That's basically eight feedings at least a day.
And you have to launch right into that schedule after whatever sort of marathon you've been through with the delivery.
And you're just tired, your hormones are all over the place. So my biggest thing is for parents who do want to introduce a bottle, whether it's a formula or a breast milk, is basically to Google or look on YouTube the term for pace feeding. Because pace feeding is a way where you can feed a baby a bottle in a way where it's very similar to how the milk comes out from breastfeeding. Because for breastfeeding, without going into too much detail, the baby has to work for it so much. So, when the baby is just used to working for it breastfeeding wise, and then they get a bottle and it's just kind of coming out like a free flowing tap.
Right.
The baby's going to be like, well, I want it this way.
Exactly.
I want the free flowing tap. So if you're able to kind of give a bottle in this pace feeding form to mimic how it is in breastfeeding, then you can easily transition for back and forth while, keeping up on your breastfeeding journey if that's what you choose. But I want to say to all the parents, at the end of the day, breastfeeding, formula, bottle feeding, at the end of the day, fed is best.
Just feed that baby.
Just do whatever is best for you and your baby. And
because
be easy on yourself.
Every kid is different too. So I remember specifically with Jackson, he was pretty good about the interchanging bottle and breastfeeding, but we understand that not every kid might be like that.
Not every woman can breastfeed easily. There are several different
And for some women,
factors.
it comes completely naturally and easily.
Yeah, so you can't compare yourself, from yourself to somebody else, because there just could be a few things that are kind of just not given to you so easily. So it's give yourself that grace and allow, just to work with what you have.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, your hormones are just all over the place.
Pace feeding wound up being a slam dunk for us because I feel like it gave us the ability to equally share the responsibility of feeding the child in the first days after returning from the hospital. But because it might not work for everyone or every child and mother, and the relationship between the two is going to be different, it's just another strategy to kind of have in your arsenal. So that when you're going through strategies trying to figure out what works for you and your newborn, this might be one that you try. If it works for you, outstanding. If not, there's plenty of other ways to get that baby fed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you have any other sentiments you wanted to share for new parents in general before we wrap things up?
I guess my only, sentiments has always been to just be a team. In the beginning, I don't really know if the partner can really do as much as the mother in the beginning, or they don't know what to do. So it's almost just be there for support. Change a diaper here and there, grab some water for the mother, whatever they need, just kind of be there. So there's no resentment kind of building. You more or less feel you're in this together, no matter how much it sucks in the beginning. And my only other thing is give yourself grace. My grandma always told me, still tells me to this day, just allow your house to go. Like, it doesn't worry about...
Let the house go.
It doesn't worry about how messy the house is. When that baby sleeps, you sleep. You know, give yourself grace. There's a lot of new stuff going on, so just be easy on yourself, love yourself, and just, you know, take it day by day. Because, you know, it's a learning curve for everybody.
It's hard to take that advice sometimes, but, you know, even that in being a new parent is a bit of a challenge, but it's one that we strongly recommend because it is nice to go easy on yourself every once in a while. With that, TBC, let's wrap up today's episode. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find us online?
You can find us at bit.ly/youngfamilypodcast, all lowercase and all one word.
That's what it is. Now, on behalf of the TBC and myself, we are saying deuces until next time, and
Bye!
This is the Young Family Podcast. This is the Young Family Podcast.